All right. Hey, welcome. NBA chat, playoffs. Make little comments below, and you gone. Love it when people sign on and they don't even say anything. Hey, welcome. Comment below. I'm talking NBA playoffs or just NBA or any kind of basketball. No matter what it is, but type a little something below to strike up a conversation. Welcome. Here to chat some basketball this evening. What do we all think about the current playoff situation? What about last night's game, the Knicks and Pacers? That was quite the game. Hello. Did you happen to catch the Pacers-Knicks game last night? It was quite the overtime win by Indiana. I do have to say so. And of course, Oklahoma City. Holy smokes, they made the Timberwolves look like a JV team, let me tell you. How many times can SGA go to the foul line? He is like the new James Harden with drawing them fouls, let me tell you. Comment below your favorite team, even if they're not in the playoffs. Next thing you know, we're going to be draft picking and trades and free agency is coming up. It's going to be the Wild West, I feel like, this offseason once the playoffs and the championship is over. Rumor has it, Boston Celtics are going to try to get Cooper Flag. I don't know. What are they going to do? Trade the farm? Jaylen Brown might be gone. Derek White? Who knows? To me, personally, I feel like they could probably get rid of Kristaps Porzingis, the Celtics. They can get rid of them. You can get rid of Kristaps Porzingis. Dude fades away. Always hurt. 2 years. Meh. Hello. Mason, thanks for saying hi. Type down below what your favorite team is. What do you think of the current situation in the playoffs? Do you think Indiana can take the Knicks? I mean, they beat them. They're up one game, but overtime. I mean, that was probably one of the luckiest shots with that high bounce. And an in. I thought it was a three-pointer, but whatever. I think the Indiana can. I personally think the Knicks would match up better with Oklahoma. Like, I think if Indiana wins this series, Oklahoma is just going to sweep them. I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment below. Chatting. Questions, comments, your favorite teams, your thoughts on playoffs, whatever. You can even talk WNBA if you want. I don't care. Miami Heat. Yeah, all right. What'd you think of them trading Jimmy Buckets Butler? I was a surprise. I was surprised they traded Buckets. And I knew once they traded him, they were washed out. I expect more trades from Miami. They're gonna look like a totally different team. They'll probably keep Bam, obviously. You were sad. Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, first it was the Luka trade, and then all of a sudden, bam, they traded Jimmy. I was like, what? To Golden State. And I truly believe because the Golden State Warriors did so well because of that trade, and they got pushed just that little bit further into the playoffs. Championship, nah, they're not championship caliber anymore, but I think they could have won if Steph Curry hadn't got hurt. I can see Miami. There was rumor that Miami might try to get Giannis. There's also, I heard Orlando might try to get Giannis. A lot of teams are tied to Giannis for some reason. Everybody wants him. Oh, I'm a Celtics fan, even though I got a Tampa Bay hat on. I'm a Celtics fan. I know this is football, but yep, I'm a Celtics fan. Yeah, we need him in Orlando. Yeah, I mean, I think Orlando could land him, but you got to be able to keep Paolo Banchero there. You got to be able to keep him. If you can't keep Paolo, then it's pointless. You know, he's the cornerstone. But then if you have him and Giannis, how would they both gel? Like, you think they would gel enough? I mean, who's the face of the franchise right now? Paulo. Who would be the face of the franchise then? Giannis, probably. So, can you say the GOAT? Nah, LeBron. If you're referring to LeBron, he needs to get out of LA, though. LeBron James needs to get out of LA. Ooh, I like that. Is LeBron James going to Cleveland to retire? You know what? If I was LeBron, I would. Luka is now the face of the Lakers, right? He will be. That's why the trade happened. LeBron's 40 years old. If I was LeBron, I probably would be like, I'm going to go back to Cleveland. And that might put Cleveland over the top with Donovan Mitchell and all those guys over there for them to win another championship. Yeah. Let's see. What do we got? Yeah, man. I don't know. Mayonnaise or Miracle Whip? Who's better, LeBron or Michael? Oh, no, not one of these debates. LeBron or Michael. First off, I've never believed in the greatest player of all time. I believe in the greatest player at a position of all time. It's like saying Tom Brady. I'll take Tom Brady, for instance. Greatest, everyone says he's the greatest football player of all time. Well, no, he is not the greatest football player of all time. He is currently the greatest quarterback of all time. Now, Patrick Mahomes, he might be able to sneak in there. But he's not the greatest. I mean, there's so many different positions to play. I guess with today's basketball, because it's so positionless, it's hard to say that. But, so Michael Jordan is the greatest, what is it, scoring guard? So Michael Jordan is definitely the greatest scoring guard of all time. And what do they got LeBron listed as? Small forward. So LeBron James is the best small forward of all time, plain and simple. That's how I like to differentiate greatest of all time. Because it's so hard to say, oh, Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player of all time. Yeah, at his position that he played in. Like, it's also a team. And also, people always forget that LeBron James didn't do anything until Scottie Pippen showed up to town. Everybody always forgets about Scottie Pippen. Once Batman and Robin teamed up, then you had, through Dennis Rodman, you had Horace Grant, Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc. I mean, they had a whole roster. He had a whole bucket load of players to keep winning them championships. People forget about that. They just think he did it all himself, like he was the only guy out on the court. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, LT, the best football player ever. Yeah, at his position. That's what I'm saying. You gotta, he may be the best play at his. I forget what did LT play? I forget what LaDain Thomas was. I don't remember what he played. What position he played? Would you rather watch a tree grow? What? A tree. Do you think Nikola Jokic should have won the MVP? All right, so MVP. This is where I tend to think a little more different than everybody else when it comes to this kind of stuff. I personally am a numbers guy and a stats guy. So if we want to base it off of strictly numbers, Jokic should have won the MVP. And I'm not a Jokic fan. I mean, he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but he was like literally if you look at the top like 6 categories in the NBA, he was like in the top 3 in most of the categories. Points, blocks, whatever, rebounds, assists, whatever, all the major categories. All right. He was like right up there in that top 5 section in most of them. SGA was only in one of the major categories, which was points. Probably was number 1 in foul shots as well. But for the most part, and the Denver Nuggets were a winning team, and the Thunder were also a winning team. But so to me personally, they both were winning franchises. And, the only difference is Jokic filled out the stat sheet a little bit more. Whoa, lots of going on here now. Thoughts on Halliburton? Why are we repeating that? Let's see. Thoughts on Halliburton? Yo, that shot he made at the end of the game to push it into overtime was absolutely wild. And I mean, you want to talk about the luckiest bounce of all time? That could just have been the luckiest bounce of all time. He shot that ball hit, it popped up, and then came right back down. I mean, come on. That's like stuff you see at a high school, playoff game or something like that. A kid chucks it like full court and it, goes in. That was wild. And then to win it in overtime. 3-0. SGA is fantastic at drawing the fouls. And he makes his foul shots. I mean, good for him. I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like what James Harden used to do with the Rockets. I mean, James Harden used to go to the foul line continuously back in the day until they changed some of the rules. But people forget about Rockets James Harden and how much he would go to the foul line because he would draw those fouls, with guys landing in his airspace, and he would go by him, he would give him a little crisscross, and he would go by him, and he would just kind of hook the arm a little bit and flail all around. People forget all about that. Then they kind of changed the rules because of James Harden. But right now, he's just driving hard to the basket, and he's just getting that little bit of contact, and he's popping it up, and it's like, brr, brr, brr. Whistles are going crazy. 3-throw spammer. I like that. Who's my favorite? My favorite currently is Jaylen Brown. I'm Celtics fan, and all people say, "Oh, you don't like Tatum?" I like Tatum, but Jaylen Brown, I just like his style of play. Yeah, I know he's working on his left hand, but whatever. Rockets Harden was different. Seriously, he really was. Like, that put him on the map. 3-throw spammer. I have it's all y'all just chatting. I'm glad that people are writing comments in here because, a lot of times I sit here, I do this because I get like one person pops on and then they just leave. And then they pop on and they don't say anything and then they leave. So I'm right now, I'm like, yeah, look at all this chit chat going on here. I love it. Julius Randle. Ooh, Julius Randle MVP. Ginobili. Ginobili. Uh-oh, this message was held for review. Somebody wrote something naughty. No naughty comments, people. Come on, keep it clean. I got my little scrubs on here, so it's scrubbing those naughty words. You don't keep it clean, people. Do you think Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum should have? No, I do not. Think they should have won Most Valuable Player. Absolutely not, because they are not the most valuable player in the league. They are two of the most valuable players on the Celtics, and Jaylen Brown rightfully so won, the Finals MVP, which totally deserves that. But people will say, what about Jason Tatum, MVP? I'm like, nah, and again, I'm going by stats. If you look at number-wise, he wasn't in the top 5 in any of the major categories. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but he's a little soft, and sometimes he would rather shoot a 3-ball than to pass to a wide-open guy underneath the basket to get just 2 points, and then your team loses by 2. So I'm a little salty on Tatum at the moment. Yeah, Brown was Finals MVP. Can the Knicks recover from that? Yeah, I think the Knicks can recover from that. And personally, Indiana is one of those weird teams. They give teams a hard time, and they match up well with a lot of teams. But I think, like I said, I think the New York Knicks should win the series, and they would be the better matchup for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Personally, that's my take. But, Drew Holiday. All right. I think Drew Holiday, he's not going to be a Celtic. I think they're going to trade him. Drew Holiday is getting traded. I think Holiday might get traded. Porzingis might get traded. I don't think they're going to get rid of Derek White. They like Derek White. I don't, Peyton Pritchard might have a little bit of stock, but I don't. He don't cost that much money right now. But the problem is Holiday got like a $30 million in the bag thing. Porzingis, jeez, he just needs to go. I'm sorry, he just disappears in the playoffs, whether he's healthy or not healthy. Yeah, the Spurs will hopefully. I haven't heard much about Wemby, but hopefully Wemby's going to recover from whatever that was. He has some kind of clot or something in his leg or something. Hopefully he's okay. But I mean, Spurs lucky, second pick. Woo! Second, I think they got the second draft pick this year. Lucky dogs, first pick, second pick. Pop retires. That's all right. He was getting old anyway. Yep. Yep. Holiday does get some some of the easy buckets, but they were staying again looking at stats and numbers. Drew's corner 3-point percentage really took a big hit this past season. Just kind of almost dried up. Whereas last season he was like fire money. I don't know if it had to do with that hand injury he suffered back like some time ago. I don't know. I think it was before the playoffs. He suffered some kind of torn ligament in his finger. And I think